Hey guys, how are you going? Hey. All right. Cool. So, hey, Anna Brooks here. Welcome. If you caught my live stream earlier this morning, I've had an amazing day so far. It's just going to get better. I'm in the flow. Everything's on a good pace and a good structure, right? So, if you caught my live stream this morning, which was a bit of just an ass kicking, mostly to myself, but then, if you felt like you needed it as well, then you're welcome. However, I did kind of allude to the idea that I had a bit of an announcement to make, and it was something, it's a very sudden announcement, which a lot of them always are, I guess, because it's stuff that comes to me quite quickly, and I know now to go with my gut, and I know to go with what I know is right. So what the live stream was about was basically talking about just the last few days and how every time I sort of come to the end of a particular program, for example, that when it gets to the end of it, I kind of almost feel like something gets released, like it's the end of something and it's saying goodbye, and therefore when it happens, it's almost like new things are coming, and so therefore there's a sort of process of letting go and of allowing new things to come, right? And so yesterday, as I was sort of going through all of this, I was having a chat with a friend, and I mentioned to him that, today, what's going on? Today's like the last day of one of my programs, so I feel like tonight something really awesome is just going to come to me. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to journal, I'm going to work out some new things. And whilst I did get a few ideas last night, it wasn't actually until this morning that it all kind of fell into place, so to speak, like came to fruition in terms of actual idea, right? And so what I realized this morning, mid workout actually, I'd already done a cycle class, and I'd then gone and done my shoulder workout. And so I was about midway through my shoulder workout, and I just got this sudden just clarity, basically, that just said, you know what, Anna, this binge eating, emotional eating, turning to food, all that kind of stuff, you're done. And it was just such a moment of clarity that it was like, well, this is what I've been doing for such a long time. Like, it was where I started. It was what my first sort of idea of what I wanted to help people with, and how I wanted to basically help people to live their best life. And that this area of emotional eating and binge eating was just, it was so under the radar. Like, it still is, I guess, in some ways now, but it was very much under the radar, where people didn't talk about it, people didn't admit to it, and people didn't want to admit to it. They didn't even want the help, to the point that they didn't want to admit to it. And I still think it is a little bit like that now. I see that in clients and in potential clients, where it's still kind of a little bit hidden and a bit like, well, no, I get what you're saying, and yes, I'll admit that I did this and I did this and I did this, but the actual admission to get to the point of saying, you know what, I actually need help to figure this out, is still kind of an uphill battle, I find. And that's fine. We all have our journeys. We all have to figure it out our way. But what I realized was, for me, it was kind of like a crutch, holding on to sort of pushing this side of me and this side of what I specialize in, where it was like, well, I know it really well. I know it, I'm very familiar with it myself from the past, and I know exactly how to fix it. And I have, I've designed an entire signature program around it, which is amazing. Like, it's just the most incredible program I could have ever come up with, in terms of the content, in terms of what you actually get out of it, and how much it can transform your entire life. But I was attracting, for years now, the wrong type of people, right? And the reason for it, I think, and let me know if you think that this is something that applies to you maybe, I think the reason for attracting the wrong people is plain and simply because I was coming from still a place of I guess not being true to myself in the sense of just being quite as blunt and as honest about it as I want to be, right? So there's a part of me that very much is very compassionate and absolutely understands how hard it is when you do have this sort of food addiction, and especially if you don't want to admit to it, you're just making it a hell of a lot harder for yourself. But I do understand the shame and the guilt that comes with it, and therefore the definite want to not admit to it. But I just had enough. Like, I just had enough. There was a point that came for me in my journey to overcome this, where I just had to suck it up, look myself in the mirror and just go, Anna, you've got a fucking problem. Like, you've literally got a problem and you need to fix it. You've got to stop burying your head in the sand, stop burying your head in every single diet plan and exercise plan that comes along as if that's going to be the magic fix. You've just got to get your shit together and deal with it and deal with what is really wrong. And I find that most people are just not ready to hear that. They're not ready to hear you've got to sort out your head shit, basically, because it's quite confronting. Because for some people, their head shit that's led them to this is quite personal and it's quite deep and it's quite intense. And so a lot of people don't want to A, face it, or B, tell their coach. Which brings me to the main point of my announcement. A was, I am done with the binge eating, the emotional eating, the working through what's going on, all that kind of stuff. I refuse from this day forward, from this moment on and from this morning really, but now that I've officially announced it, I absolutely refuse to coach people on it. I just refuse. I'm going to keep my program available, the online program, which is an 8-week program, Love Your Body, Free Your Mind. So if you are still interested, I will leave that program available and I'm going to pop that down below. And if this resonates with you and this is something that you're like, all right, maybe I am ready to admit to it, then great. That program's going to be there. I guarantee you do not need private coaching from me or from anyone else for it. You just need to do the program and apply it and go through it properly and actually commit yourself to it. So I'm going to leave that open, absolutely. But in terms of actually coaching people on it, convincing people to get this program, I'm just done. I'm done because it is attracting this energy that is basically very negative for me. And I don't mean it's a negative energy from people. I mean, it's a negative energy for me because it brings back that kind of neediness, that kind of desperate want to help. And I don't mean that wanting to help is bad. I mean the desperate part. I mean the part where it's like, it's all consuming. It's kind of, you're like, how do I get this person to invest in themselves and get this because they need it, but they just aren't getting it. And it's so close to home for me, I think. And it's so, such an intense feeling that I understand. And I deeply get where it's coming from. I get that where it's coming from is not an easy place to go to. And so it attracts all the wrong stuff to me and it puts me in a state that I don't enjoy and it puts me in a state where I'm not my best, which brings me to the main part of the announcement, which is I am not a coach. I have realized over the past few days, and I think it's been building for quite a while now, that I am really, really over this word, this coach, this mentor word. It's driving me insane because it's not where it's at, right? And I think part of me was kind of holding on to that sort of old belief of, people needing help, need to go see a coach. You need to be coached through it. You need to be mentored from someone who's done it and that kind of stuff. And for sure, that definitely helps. You've got to go to people that know more about something than you do, obviously, in order to get that experience and that knowledge. But there's a difference between being coached and what I believe that I do, which I mean, look, there's different words for it. I'm not going to promise that this is the exact word I'm going to use forever and ever. But I do consider this reality shifting, what I do. Reality shifting. So what I mean by this is I'm not in the business of convincing you over to my way of thinking. I'm not in the business of trying to convince you that you need to change something, that this is better for you, that this is going to work for you, whatever it is. Something that I found myself saying over and over lately, and it just seems to be really ingrained that this is where it's all coming from, is that you know your body best. You know your mindset best. You know what you, on your soul level, on your heart level, on really deep inside, on your purpose, your live life on purpose, my tagline, right? You know best out of absolutely everyone, including any fucking coach or mentor or whatever you want to go to. You know exactly what you're meant to be doing and exactly how you're meant to be doing it. What you need is someone who's going to shake up your reality, because we get stuck in habits, we get stuck in routines, we get stuck in belief systems that are outdated, that are not serving us, but that we kind of keep on keeping on because we don't know how to shift out of it. So this is where I came up with this idea of a reality shifter. Basically, someone who comes in, shakes everything up, puts it upon, flips it upside down, on its head, turns it all inside out, confuses the shit out of you for a little bit because you're like, well, this is not the way I thought the world works. This is not the way I thought things are. I thought it was like all this, this, and this, and now you're telling me it's not. You're telling me I can make it all up and I can just do what I want. Well, yeah, you can. And so that's what I'm talking about, and that is truly, deeply, within me completely. I know that is my purpose. That is me living life on purpose, doing it exactly as I'm meant to be doing, making the impact in exactly the way I'm meant to make it. Because I'm not meant to coach anyone. I'm not meant to convince anyone to do anything. I'm not meant to help you through your problems, that kind of stuff. Look, there's people for that, for sure. And if you choose to believe that getting, deep and getting coached through all of your issues and stuff is the way to go, then go for it. Again, trust yourself. But if within you it's actually saying that no, what you actually need is to get going on this life of yours that you want, and stop procrastinating, stop treading water and just jumping from one thing to the next and just kind of hoping that something sticks and that something actually gets you a breakthrough. Start your fucking breakthrough now. You should be getting a breakthrough every single day. Like when you are on purpose, when you are living life according to what you actually want to do, every moment should be a breakthrough. Like I can tell you now, today, every other day, there's at least one breakthrough coming through for me. But today, it's just like every hour, everything that I do feels like a light bulb moment. And that is what it's about. It's not about waiting around hoping that this year you get some kind of light bulb, that this year hopefully something shifts, something changes. What you need is someone to come in and shift that reality for you. And that's me. That's what I do. I do not want to work anymore, and I will refuse to work with people who I need to convince that they want their goals. Nah. I am not cut out for that. There are plenty of people out there who can do that, who can, try and basically motivate you and convince you that you should be doing this or you should be doing that, or if you want these goals, this is the way to do it. There are plenty of people that can do that. That's just not me. That's just not what I'm about. I'm about the people who are ready to make a change, who are ready to actually step up and do the work. Basically, if you saw my post last week about, my sort of talk, I guess, about the matrix and about getting unplugged. Getting unplugged. So basically all of us little lemmings, well, not us necessarily, because you and me are probably already unplugged, but, walking around plugged into the matrix, going through as life dictates, as society dictates, as everything tells us to do, that this is the way it is and yada, yada, yada. Getting unplugged and realizing the absolute limitless potential within you to get the lifestyle you want, to get the relationship you want, to not buy into this crap that what your partner's meant to be, your ball and chain that they're meant to, that's just marriage, you're meant to fight, you're meant to it's meant to be really difficult. Fuck that. What kind of a belief is that? Why would you want to stay in a relationship that's going to be difficult every day or every other week or whatever it is? Why would you choose to believe that? For starters, why would you choose to believe that that is reality, right? What you need is someone to just shift that the fuck up and change it for you and basically get you your aha moments, your light bulbs, your breakthroughs on repeat over and over and over, so that you start to realize that they are everywhere, that your potential is everywhere, that your opportunities are everywhere, and you're the only reason that it's being held back. It's nothing else. It's no one else. There's no excuses. There's no reasons. There's no valid dog ate my homework, whatever it is that people come up with, lunar eclipse and something, right? What happens is people just get stuck. People get stuck in this reality of what they've already created. And that's all it is. It's just a reality they've created on their own accord. Now, I listened the other week, right, to a talk that Tony Robbins did about Sylvester Stallone. Sorry, not to reject that. So he did a talk about Sylvester Stallone and how he came to be. I'm not going to give you the full details. If you want, just Google, or actually I'll look on YouTube, Tony Robbins talks about the story of Sylvester Stallone, or Sly Stallone, right? But the long story short of it was that he just kept changing his perception, changing the way that he saw things, and kept challenging what everybody else said should happen, what shouldn't happen, how things work, how things shouldn't work. He was so committed to who he is and to his purpose and to exactly what he needs to do that he got what he wanted. And it's an incredible story. I had no idea about exactly where Sylvester Stallone had come from. So that's really worth listening to, right? But the point is, it's all what we make it up to be. It's all what we believe it to be. And sometimes it doesn't take anything to change, anything huge to change, anything, a situation to change or a circumstance. It takes you. It just takes you. And so if you want to coach, if you want to mentor, if you want to work through it, if you want to have all that stuff, that's great. And maybe what I am doing is coaching after all, and that's fine. But I just don't choose to see it that way anymore. I know when someone means what they say and actually is going to follow through with it. And I know when they're like, oh, I hope that you have the easy solution for me, but I'm going to pretend that I'm going to put in the work. Or they just don't even pretend at all, and they still expect results to happen magically of their own accord. And results will happen magically of their own accord when you are putting in the effort, when you are putting in the action to start it in the first place. The whole part of the secret is you don't get it just by asking, believing, receiving. You've got to take action. You've got to actually step into being the person that deserves all the stuff you're asking and believing and receiving for. Otherwise, yeah, you can sit on the couch and like ask, believe, receive till the cows come home and let me know how you go with that, or don't if that's seriously what you think your life is worth, is that you're not actually worth taking any action on your goals for. You just have to kind of pray for it to happen and that's about it. Then probably don't let me know, because that's fine. But there we go. So that are the two, well, like I said, there's two big announcements. One of them being about just, I am done with the binge eating, the emotional eating, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it is, for me, it is a past life. It is something that's just so far away and so long ago that it's done, and I need to let it go. I need to energetically let it go now, because I feel like I'm hanging on to it. I'm hanging on to this idea of what I'm really good at and for sure what I can help people with. But that's why I absolutely poured my heart and soul into this program that I put together. And so it's there now, and it's always going to, well, I'll say for now, always going to be there. I'm sure at some stage I'll just take it down. But for now, it's just got to be there. So if people want the help's there, right? Not to mention there's, probably heaps of other people that can help with this as well. Maybe. I don't know. But the point is, that's done with me. Energetically, that's gone. And as of today, as I've very clearly realized, energetically, I am done with this idea of coaching, of mentoring, of convincing people. And this is something that it's very within me to have learned, basically, that, and let me know if you relate to this, if this is something that you've also seen in yourself, because I dare say I'm not the only one. I hope I'm not the only one. Where you're kind of looking for validation, right? You're looking for someone to go, yes, you're doing the right thing. Good girl, pat you on the head, or good boy, whatever it is. And you're just kind of looking for that validation, but you're not actually doing what you want to do anyway. You're just kind of feeling like, well, this is what I'm about. This is the reality I've created, so I've got to follow through with it. And then you get stuck in this energy spiral of just being in that spot. When really, you're right, you're ready to move forward, you're ready to go into something new, something different, but you're just not going there for whatever reason, right? So I'm going to leave it there. If you would like to get in contact about some reality shifting, if you are in the position that you know you are going to change, come hell or high water, you're going to do it anyway, you just need someone to help you shift the fuck up a little bit faster, and a little bit more aligned, and actually give you the kick in the ass when you try and basically weasel out of it because something gets scary or something gets uncomfortable. That's what I'm here for. But you've got to know you want it. You've got to have the excuses gone, because otherwise it's just not going to happen. You can go around in circles and you can have people try and convince you, but that's the problem. When you're not convinced of the change that you want, of the lifestyle that you want, of the relationship you want, of the career you want, of the health, of the fitness of the body that you want, when you're not convinced that that's really what you want to work for, no one else is going to be able to convince you. You've got to go to that person that is going to be your guiding light, that is going to help you in the direction you want to go, and you've got to be committed before you commit to anyone else and commit to them helping you, because it's not their job. It's not their job to get that commitment out of you. That's got to come from you, always. And that makes it a hell of a lot easier for everyone involved when you're like, yep, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this come hell or high water. Give me the steps. Tell me how to do it. Make it faster for me, basically. Make it easier. Give me the support and the guidance and the expertise that I need, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's what we need. That's what we need, and this is what we need in this world, is less coaches, less mentors, less people up on their high horses talking about what's right and what's not and whatever it is, and more reality shifters, more people stepping up and just shaking things up, opening up your eyes and telling you that, you know what, everything is unlimited. All of your options are unlimited. Anything you want is there for the taking. You've just got to believe that. It starts with you, and then even the opportunities, the people that you need to get you there will appear. They will appear, all right? I'm going to leave it there, head off and keep in this awesome state, this high energy state that I'm in, which is awesome. And I will see you guys later. All right, bye.